Alright guys, hey, how you doing? We're going to get right into this today. I'm DC's Bailey, and we're going to talk about the first episode of Superman and Lois. It was a excellent episode. I know I'm a couple of days late on this. It has been out since about Tuesday. Forgive me on that, but I am a huge Superman fan. I have been since, God, I was a little kid. Been a huge DC Comics fan. Have been since I was a little kid, ever since the Bruce Timm Superman, Batman TV shows. Watch the Justice League. One of the best things about this one episode was it showed off just what kind of character Superman is. Just what kind of character Lois Lane is. And it didn't show it with the powers. It didn't show it with the investigations, which it did get into. We saw how strong Superman is. We saw the kind of reporter Lois Lane is. We're going to see more of that throughout the season. Yeah, that Morgan Edge storyline that we're going to be seeing. But the priority that this episode took, that looks like the show is going to take, is what I've been saying for years to friends about the character Superman and how he needs to be portrayed. You don't show off a character like Superman that's overpowered and make him relatable to other people, because it's impossible. There's no way anybody can relate to a character that can lift a planet, that can fly into space without even needing a spacesuit. The way you make a character like Superman relatable is you show off his human qualities. And it's been said numerous times throughout the comics, and a couple of times throughout shows and movies, that he is probably one of the most human characters whilst being an alien. He grew up most of his life thinking he was human. He didn't even know that he was from outer space until his parents, his adopted parents, the Kents, told him that they found him in a spaceship in the middle of a cornfield. So he sees himself as this human character, and we see him in the show as a father of two sons, two opposite sons who couldn't be anything more alike. We see him struggling. We see him not knowing how to juggle his life as a father, as a husband, as Superman, as a news reporter. We see him lose his job. And what's more human than that? We've honestly, we've seen characters that can't even, that are larger than life. And you wouldn't even expect to see something like Superman come up and go to work, and then the next thing he knows, he's being fired. You don't even think about that. You don't think of what it's going to be like for him when he goes home. And that's one thing that the show is doing an amazing job of. And I can't wait to see what happens the rest of the season. Now, one of the great things about this episode is, you saw so many different things that they're going to be bringing up. You saw a callback to a Batman character when they showed the newspaper articles. One of the articles had an explosion at an Ace chemical facility in Gotham. That's the origin of the Joker. You have a Batman crossover right there, the very first episode. Not just that, though, but you have one of the most iconic suits in the history of Superman, the Fletcher suit. You have that famous image of Superman catching a green car. You see him catch this car in the Fletcher suit with the iconic red trunks. I did not expect to see that. In this day and age when so many people are against the red trunks, I didn't expect to see them at all. I didn't expect it in the Crisis crossover with Brandon Routh coming back, and I certainly didn't expect this. The suit that we got in this season, it's by far leaps and bounds better than his original suit that he had for the last few years on Supergirl. This actually looks like a Superman suit that he would wear. I have slight issues with it, yeah. One being, I feel like the neckline, it's a bit too far up. It makes his head look smaller than the rest of the body. It does not look proportionate. It's a very small problem. It's a problem I can see them easily fixing in the second season, or even later down this season. Extending it out to what the Fletcher suit was. That's all they really need to do to it, and this suit would be perfect. But this episode was perfect. You see what's going to be happening with this season. And it looks like it's going to be an interesting season. You have the build-up of the relationship with Lana's character. You have what could be an antagonistic relationship with her husband, with the fire chief. It could be through jealousy. It could be through many things. Right now they're building it up as a jealous relationship between him and Clark because of a past relationship, because of past feelings that Lana has with Clark. And it has been done in the comics. Lana literally named her son Clark in the comics because she couldn't get over her feelings for him. So that's going to be an interesting storyline to see how that progresses. It's going to be an interesting storyline to see how Jordan's relationship progresses with Lana's daughter, considering she does have a boyfriend and you know he has feelings for her. One of the most interesting aspects of the show, though, is going to be something we have never seen in anything outside of the comics. And that is Clark as a father. Clark and Lois as parents. It's been done in the comics. It's been done extremely well in the comics. A few years ago, you had the Up and Away storyline, where you had Clark and Lois adopt the son of General Zod, who they named Chris Kent. It was an amazing storyline, and it turned out into the Flamebird and Nightwing storyline. It is one of my favorite comics, and it's one of my favorite characters in all the comics. And now recently you have the Rebirth series of comics, where they introduced Jonathan Kent, Superman and Lois' son. And honestly, as soon as I heard they had a character named Jonathan Kent on the show, I thought this was going to be their Superboy. I thought he was going to be the one with the powers that we were hearing about, and Jordan was going to be the other son that didn't have them. It was very interesting to see how that progressed throughout the show, because throughout the show, you saw Jordan being the inquisitive type. I thought he was going to be taking after his mother, the best journalist in the world. I thought it was Jonathan that saved them in the barn. They threw us for a loop with this show, and they yet might still have both sons come out with powers. But from right now, we have just Jordan. And it's going to be an interesting way to see how that relationship with Jordan and Clark kind of improves on the show, because the way we got it at the beginning of the episode, it was very antagonistic. Jordan didn't know how to deal with his father. Clark didn't know how to deal with Jordan. We're going to have Clark taking on more of his father's role. He's going to be the one showing Jordan how to develop these powers, how to handle these powers. It's going to be a very much Smallville-esque show in that kind of fashion, and that was one of my favorite shows of the 2000s. I am still a huge fan of Smallville. I'm still a huge Tom Welling fan. I had always hoped that he would take over as Superman after Christopher Reeves passed the torch to him. unfortunately, he didn't want to take on the cape and the suit and the boots. Tyler Hoechlin, though, he has done an amazing job. I can easily say he is becoming quickly one of my favorite Supermen. And finally, that kind of brings us to that final moment in the show. The surprise, which honestly wasn't very much of a surprise if you really think about it, the Commander Luthor. After Crisis, bringing the worlds back and everything, there was a possibility of having another Lex Luthor out in the world. Didn't really expect it coming onto the show. There's history. There are Lex Luthors in the multiverse that are good. There are Lex Luthors in the multiverse that are evil. We don't know which one this is yet. He could come from a world where Superman is evil and he's the good guy. Or this could be a story where we're just getting a Lex Luthor that just hates Superman. For no other reason than he is Superman. And this is going to be very interesting. I do kind of wish they had gone with a different design for the character. I'm getting a very Halo-esque Master Chief kind of feel from him, which is cool. But I would have liked a more power armor that we've gotten from the comics from him. Other than that, the show was perfect. Like I've said probably multiple times in this, but I'm very happy right now. I have been a Superman fan since, God, I was about 5 or 6 years old. I can remember working over in a mall when I was a kid at a sporting goods store, and us having a comic book store about 3 stores down, and I would go over there on my breaks and I would read as many Superman comics and as many comics as I could. And this is bringing to life everything I have said about the character and everything I have wanted with this character. If you guys have anything you want to add on, anything you want to say about what I've said, how I feel free in the comments. I am hoping to do these at least twice a week, once a week after every episode now. And I will hopefully be adding other shows. I'm a huge fan of The Flash. I might try and do some WandaVision stuff with 1 episode left. Definitely going to try and do some stuff for Falcon and Winter Soldier. But we'll see where this goes from there. Have a great one, everyone.